Hi, I'm Dr. Don Bonner at Personalized Wellness. Today, it's been a while since I've shot a video, so I want to get back into getting some of these videos uploaded. And I thought it was a good time with the new year approaching. Everybody's going to be getting their yearly physicals, and I really wanted to go over some lab work and some biomarkers that I think everybody should know and get yearly because they give a lot of information. So that's the title today, Lab Tests and Biomarkers. So when you go to your doctor, I want you to be fasting to get your lab work. That's very important. Try to get the lab work in the morning. And you need at least a CBC and a complete metabolic panel. And I want you to get a cholesterol profile also. While you're there, obviously they'll check your vital signs. So one of the things that we want to watch is your blood pressure. It's very, very important. I like to see a blood pressure of 120/70 or lower. Lower the better. I love to see blood pressures of 110/60. There's a lot of good studies out there that show low blood pressure equals longevity. So that is something that we want to keep in mind and we want to look at and we want to address early. So that's easy. We've gotten the lab work. When you get the lab work though, it's very, very crucial for you to, with that CMP or chemistry that you get, to ask if they'll draw an insulin level at the same time. Insulin is incredibly important. Glucose and insulin fasting and then calculating what's called a HOMA-IR to me is way more important than a hemoglobin A1C is as far as for checking for glucose and early diabetes. This is a very important number. HOMA-IR is easy to calculate. The calculation is just the glucose number that you get times the fasting insulin divided by 405. We want to see that number below 1. That's a very telling number for us. If you're above about 2.5, you're essentially a diabetic. So very important, very cheap, a lot of information with this one test right here. Because if you know anything, if you followed anything that I've put out in the past, insulin resistance, in my opinion, drives or is incorporated in almost all of these illnesses that we look at that decrease our lifespan. Cardiovascular disease and stroke, dementia, cancer, all of these things are very relevant. We want to know that number for sure. Next thing that I want you to do with your cholesterol panel that they get for you, I want you to check and see what your triglyceride to HDL ratio is. And I'd like to see that below 2. Those are a couple of other indicators for metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome, again, is tied to all of these medical problems that we're talking about. And I can tell you, between HOMA-IR and this number, super, super important to know those as far as your health and where you stand health-wise. Okay. Last thing that I definitely want you to do, and you can do this at home. You don't need to go to the doctor's office. So everybody should know this number, waist to height ratio. I want you to measure around your belly button and see what that number is, and then measure your height, and then that waist to height ratio, you would like to be below 0.5. And so the lower the better here. Again, this is another marker of metabolic syndrome. So we're looking for metabolic syndrome on these. Okay, I'd say the final thing that I would tell you about this, once you get this lab work back, if your HOMA-IR is abnormal, if your fasting insulin level is above 10, I would highly recommend that you find some place to do a oral glucose tolerance test. We do those here at the clinic. It's a very easy test to do. You drink a glucose containing solution which has 75 grams of glucose in it, and at 2 hours after you drink that, you get a glucose and an insulin level. And really, I want to see that insulin level, and I'd like to see that insulin level below 25. And that is without a doubt, the best test that you can do because it's a provocative test. We're testing to see how your body handles glucose and a glucose load. So these are the things I want you to get this year. Your doctor will be glad to do it, I'm sure. Really, the only thing you're going to be adding that's a little out of the normal is an insulin level. So super cheap and gives us a ton of information. So again, I'm Dr. Don Bonner of Personalized Wellness. If you will, if you're on the YouTube channel, click that subscribe button. That helps us out as a channel. And I'll be putting out some more videos in the in the near future. So keep up with us. Thank you.